You're welcome to News on the Hour, coming to you from the studios of New Frontiers Television. My name is Adiola Adegoke. The Kaduna State Governor, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, has distanced himself from a statement credited to his Chief of Staff, Alhaji Bashir Saidu, that he had no plan to run for the 2019 governorship race in the state. Though the governor said his Chief of Staff's good intention was misrepresented, he noted that Saidu was on his own and warned other aides and commissioners to steer clear of what could conflict with their primary assignments. The governor's Chief of Staff was reported to have said that El-Rufai had no plan to run for another term in office and that he would be succeeded by someone below the age of 50. However, El-Rufai explained that the view ascribed to the Chief of Staff was his personal opinion and thus disassociated himself from the entire statement. Benue State Governor Samuel Ortom has challenged residents of the state not to hesitate to blow the whistle if they had any case of corruption against him or any of his appointees. Governor Ortom, who said he had tried to run an open and transparent administration, said anyone with a case of corruption against him or any of his officials should blow the whistle and get the approved 5% reward. He stated this while speaking at a child education and Thanksgiving service organized by Pastor Daniel Unongo, the government house chaplain, whose wife delivered a set of twins after 18 years of marriage. Ortom said that his duty as governor was to execute God's will and urged the people to feel free to offer their counsel and criticism. Governor Ibikunle Amosun of Ogun State has warned that if Nigeria is to move forward, both leaders and followers must be honest in their dealings. Amosun lamented that one of the serious problems confronting the nation now is lack of accountability. He declared that no society can develop if its leaders and citizens lack integrity. The governor spoke at the maiden National Convention of the Institute of Chartered Accountants Forum of Political Ambassadors held in Abeokuta, Ogun State. Amosun reiterated that cases of resources management, leakages and wastages, misappropriation of funds continue to rear their ugly head for lack of accountability, adding that most of these issues would not have come up if the accountants have been doing their job as professionally as they should. The State House and several ministries, departments and agencies of the federal government to share over 1.119 billion naira on foodstuffs, meals, refreshments and welfare packages as contained in the 2017 budget. The National Assembly had passed a budget of 7.441 trillion naira on Thursday last week. The appropriation bill has yet to be signed into law by the acting president, Yemi Osinbajo. The State House would buy foodstuff and make other provisions for catering in excess of 123.5 million naira, while a separate of 97.5 million naira will be expended on refreshments and meals. The presidency on Sunday promised to give the 2017 budget the urgency it merits by signing it into law immediately it is transmitted to it. It assured that acting President Yemi Osinbajo would not hesitate to perform the all-important ritual. The presidency, however, said that the clerk of the National Assembly was yet to transmit the document, stating that it is anxiously waiting for its arrival to the presidential villa. We'll take a break and we'll return with more news. Don't go away. Thanks for staying with us. In Ekiti State, the Ekiti State's Governor Ayodele Fayose has suspended the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Oludare Abegunde, and 3 others over alleged misuse and vandalism of some government facilities under their care. The governor has also directed the head of service, Dr. Gbenga Fasheluka, to constitute a panel to probe the activities of the officials. Fayose would decry the misuse of public utilities by the public, and government officials lamented that such had constituted on a drain on public resources. The governor, according to a statement by his chief press secretary, Mr. Idowu Adelosi in Ado-Ekiti, gave the directive while paying an inspection visit to the state-owned broiler processing facility in Erifon, Ado-Ekiti, and the livestock pen. The governor expressed disgust that barely 3 years after the inauguration of the facility, the cooling system and the generator had been vandalized by unknown persons. Fayose also condemned the poor attitude of the officers in charge of the place and ordered their suspension. Justice John Soho of the Federal High Court in Abuja today transferred to the Port Harcourt Division of the court the charges filed against the Independent National Electoral Commission's 23 officials who were accused of receiving 360 million naira bribe from Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State during the December 10, 2016 rerun elections. The judge ruling on the notice of preliminary objection filed by the electoral officers challenging the jurisdiction of the courts to hear the case in Abuja held that the charges ought to be filed in the Rivers State capital, Port Harcourt, where the alleged offenses were committed. He held that the prosecution was unable to provide any cogent evidence of insecurity in Port Harcourt to justify the filing of the charges in Abuja. Justice Soho held that the impression created by the prosecution that there was persuasive insecurity and that the city had become ungovernable provisions of section was not backed with any evidence. Motherhood is a choice you make every day to put someone's happiness and well-being ahead of your own, to teach the hard lessons, to do the right things over and over again. It was an emotional moment at Molete Baptist Church, Ibadan, on Mother's Day as children recall sweet memories of their mothers. The Reverend of the church, Reverend Edward Alabi, adopted this method to help the children heal.
My mother didn't let us know. We didn't know that it was mommy that was doing all these things. We still thought it was daddy, but it was mom. We later knew it was mom. My mother was a godly person. Do anything. She would say, even when we were 4 and we were all girls, we are all girls. When our first one was getting married, a few weeks to her wedding, she lost her sight. She lost one of her eyes, but she still believed that it would be well. She has this song that she used to sing that made her feel that I will sing on. And to the glory of God, she recovered to the sight, and it was well. She was always there.
I'm grateful to say that I have a mother that was able to manage the entire 5 children, 5 girls, 1 boy for 23 years without the husband.
I don't know what I will use to qualify her. Everything in the book of Proverbs chapter 31, that is my mother. She played this morning, I was nearly crying.
24 years before she died. She died 3 years ago. When we were growing up, my mother was always there for us. We were 5, 1 woman, 4 men. In fact, what we are today, all of us, was as a result of our very good effort.
We celebrate our mothers, and of course we wish them happy Mother's Day even as they go for another 1 year. Moving on, unity is the right key to a peaceful and loving nation. In order to achieve this, the Ibadan Baptist Conference decided to start from home, which is the Church of God. And this brought about a pastors and deacons retreat that was held on 13th May 2017 with the theme Pastors and Deacons Co-worker in the Vineyard of God. Adebola Adeleke has the report.
As the Ibadan Baptist Conference tends to enhance the relationship and spiritual growth of the church leaders, this has brought about the maiden edition of the Pastors and Deacons Retreat with the theme Pastors and Deacons Co-worker in the Vineyard of God, with the golden text from 1 Corinthians 3 verse 9 at the Ibadan Baptist Center, Lashokon, Ibadan, Oyo State. The conference president, Reverend Dr. Yemi Adekunle, welcomed all delegates of the program and also expressed his delight about the program.
Ibadan here, the leadership of the Pastors Fellowship, the leadership of the Diaconate of Ibadan Baptist Fellowship, all members of this body coming together in this historic meeting. The first one of its kind. Put your hands together. I recognize all of you for the privilege and the opportunity. We thank God for the innovation for Pastors Deacons Retreat. It's a good idea, and it will promote cordial relationship between pastors and deacons in our churches. So I feel delighted to identify with this Pastor Deacons Retreat.
The Speaker, Reverend Timothy Olufayo of UI Baptist Church, spoke about how deacons were elected in the Bible, their duties to the church, and also on how the deacon and pastor can work together for the growth of Christ.
University of Ibadan. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with me the Reverend Timothy Olufayo.
The church in the beginning enjoyed the presence of God. The power of God was greatly at work in the early church. There came to a point whereby there was some misgiving in the midst of the brethren. Some people came out with a complaint that they are widows, they are not being taken good care of. They raised this with the leadership, the apostles. The apostles did not just sweep that matter under carpet. They looked at the matter holistically. They addressed the issue, they called the church together, and they said, no, can we just select some people to look onto this, to help us meet this particular need. They elected 7, and these 7 came to be recognized as first set of deacons. So they elected this man, and this man went to their work, ministering to the table, helping them to take care of the widows in the church. And the Bible recorded it that the apostles, they concentrated more on the ministry of the word and prayer. And a lot of people came to join the church. The ministry was so, that's an indication that there was a kind of complementary role between these two groups, the apostles and the ones so selected in Acts chapter 6. Since deacons do not have teaching, pastoral call, role and authority in a local church administration, the diaconate ministry is somehow subordinate. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of sacrifice. It takes a lot of commitment. It takes a lot of commitment. Relationship is vital, is key to the success of this ministry. Christianity is relationship. Relationship with God and relationship with fellow human beings. Blessed is a church where pastors and deacons are working together harmoniously.
Incidentally, the pastors and the deacons are the two principal officers of a Baptist church, according to the scriptures. But why we've not been working together has been a misery to me.
Both the pastor and the deacon must know that they are working for God. And there's no unhealthy competition in working for God. The pastor must know that he's the spiritual leader and he should tend the flock. And to share the word of God, feed the people with the word of God. And then the deacons should know that they are to prepare the mind of the people to receive the word. If they know this one, it's complementary.
If you get it right at the point of entry of becoming a deacon or becoming a pastor, if you're a child of God, you have the Spirit of God. There is less conflict, let me put it in that perspective, in the diaconate pastoral relationship.
Everything said and done, it all boils down to unity and oneness in the Church of Christ, in the society, and in the country as a whole. Adebola Adeleke reporting.
That's the much we'll be taking on News on the Half for this hour. My name is Adiola Adegoke. Good afternoon.